Okay, so in this video we're going to be giving our review for episode 14 of The Walking Dead Season 7, titled, I forgot what it's called. What's it called?
The Other Side.
Okay, so in this video we're going to be reviewing episode 14 of The Walking Dead Season 7, titled The Other Side. So this episode was really good. I did actually like it, even though it was predictable and I kind of saw the Sasha thing coming. Like, I did actually see it coming because we've done it in our prediction video. They made it very obvious that it was going to be Sasha, but it was still a really good episode. I knew that by the end either Sasha was going to die or be captured, and that's what happened.
Now, in my opinion, this whole episode was just amazing. Like, there was no filler whatsoever, in my opinion. You had so much
Stuff that progressed the story, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. And I mean, with the Maggie and Daryl stuff, like, people were saying, should she forgive him as easy as she did? I personally think, yeah. Because, I mean, think if they've been with each other for so long. And I think she's probably thinking Glenn would have wanted me to be okay with
yeah,
this,
Glenn wouldn't have blamed Daryl, because Daryl did act out of impulse. It wasn't planned. It's not like he's thought, do you know what? Fuck it, I want Glenn to die. So let me punch Negan in the face. It wasn't planned. It wasn't intentional.
No.
Daryl just acted. He saw his family being hurt, and he just acted on impulse, right? It was the wrong thing to do. Understand that. Indirectly caused 100%, but it wasn't his... It wasn't intentional. Right? You shouldn't hold a grudge against that, and Maggie wouldn't do that. And I think even if Glenn was to have some sort of input on this somehow, he wouldn't. I don't think he'd blame Daryl anyway.
So I thought that scene between the two, Norman Reedus and Lauren Cohen, in that scene was fucking amazing. The way Daryl just, like, the upset on his face, that just got you. Like, even when I was listening to live reaction,
made me want to tear up. Yeah,
exactly. It was proper. It was really sad. It was just a great scene, a lovely scene, and I wouldn't have put that a different way. I wouldn't have made Maggie go mad at him or anything like that. I think that was perfect.
Daryl's not just feeling guilt over Glenn. He's feeling guilt over Herschel and Beth. Like, he's feeling guilt over everyone that Maggie's lost that's close
throughout his story.
Yeah, I mean, if you remember back the conversation he had with Beth back in season 4, episode Still, where he was like, I could have done something, you know, that he mentions Herschel. He's like, something along the lines of, I could have done something more to help Herschel, basically. And then when Beth died, we all know that he blamed himself for that, because like he feels like he was the reason she got taken, and now he feels guilt over Glenn as well. So that's why he can't even look Maggie in the face, because he feels like he's fucked up 3 times with the most 3 important people in her life. Great acting by Lauren Cohen and Norman Reedus, absolutely smashed it. And like David said, I wouldn't have put that scene in any other way. It was perfect.
Now also you have Jesus and Maggie, the start of the friendship. I fucking love. Cannot wait to see more of them two on screen. Jesus basically confirms that he is gay, just like the comic. There's a lot of stuff. It's the things that he's talking about, how he doesn't really fit in, and you have Sasha listening to that, which, in my opinion, throughout the whole episode, it goes perfect. She was already planning on going to the sanctuary, you know, and Rosita going there, like, they both had the same idea. I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
But with Sasha overhearing that, and then when you think of it, like at the end when she says to Rosita, like, it's not your time. She feels that it's her time, which is pretty sad, because, I mean, she basically feels like she's not needed anymore, really.
Like, she's lost everything that's close to her, so she's kind of given up. Like, be honest, she's got nothing to live for, to be honest. Probably Maggie's the only thing, like, her closest friend, but
she knows Maggie's going to be the leader of the Hilltop.
Yeah.
She watches Maggie training people with Jesus, and I think she's thinking Maggie has this under control. I'm going to try and
I think she's also seeing that Maggie has Jesus as a friend now. She doesn't necessarily need me. I think that's why she didn't think that Maggie needed her.
But also, you have a conversation with Rosita and Sasha, which is another big talking point in this episode, because it was like the Maggie and Daryl scene and the Sasha and Rosita scene. They were the 2 bits in this episode that were like, wow, proper emotional, and I loved it, because it kind of, we didn't really get much of, after episode 1, right, when Glenn and Abe died, we didn't get much of grieving or talking about it, but we got it in this episode. We got it, and it just was so perfect, in my opinion, for the time in the story.
Yeah. And they had to end the relationship with Rosita and Sasha off on a good note. Like, they couldn't just drag that out and then let Sasha be captured and blah, blah, blah. They had to basically mend it, which at that point is when we knew something was going to go down between the two, because they were just fixing it before the character goes, which is unfortunate, because, you know, like I said, I've just started to like Sasha properly and started to get into her character, and now they're killing her off. It's just unfortunate that happened.
And that's what I was going to say. With Sasha, that conversation with her and Rosita, she said that Abe wanted to go out fighting, and he didn't get to do that. He just got beat down and killed. And Sasha ends up going out fighting. She does what Abe couldn't do, you know. That's what she's going in her mind. I'm going to go out fighting. I'm going to do what Abe couldn't do. I'm going to do this for Abraham. I thought that was fucking perfect. And then you have Rosita, who's like telling Sasha that she didn't get to tell Abe that she was happy for him, and the hurt in her. And I think Sasha was thinking, it's not your time. Like, you have time to heal. You can get past this and that. I'm going to go and do something about this. I just thought the whole theme was perfect.
And she feels like Rosita has like so much, like she knows so much. She knows how to disarm bombs. She knows how to do these knots. She knows how to do everything. So she thinks, she's more valuable than me, which I don't think is true. But obviously, that's just Sasha's state of mind.
And we also have loads of scenes with Gregory, him and Simon. I love the character Simon. I've said it before. There's just something about that character.
I do want him to stay alive. To be honest, I want him to stay alive with Negan in some way. He just has too much potential. He has too much of a personality to be a side character, in my opinion, and to die.
He does.
But I have a feeling he's going to die, and you know how all of you watch our videos know how I think he's going to die. I think Carl will take him out because of it just makes sense. All the time he's like mocking Carl and flicking his hat and stuff, so I think that will happen, but I really don't want it to. Like Stephen Ogg is such a high caliber actor, in my opinion, and he pulls off the character so well. Simon seems like he could be a much bigger character than just being Negan's sideman. But we get the scene where he's just talking to Greg. Gregory's just kissing his ass as usual, saying he's got gin, and then he says he moves on to tequila and all that good stuff. You just know that Gregory he's just brown nosing. That's all he's just doing. He's just a weasel. Yeah, you see that when he's opening the door and he's like sneaking his head through it.
Zana Berkeley, who plays Gregory, is doing such a good job with that.
He is, yeah.
I mean, even the scenes during the end, like basically when Simon says to Dr. Carson, your brother's died and that you have to come back to the sanctuary. Negan wants you there. Like, I thought even the acting by Dr. Carson, the actor who plays Dr. Carson, I thought the acting there was great. Like,
yeah.
The actors were on point in this episode, like
They
proper
were.
on point. After watching it again, I just noticed that. Tell me what you think down below about that. Do you agree? Because I thought they're fantastic.
Something else I want to mention as well is that Gregory in this episode actually kind of tries to push his luck a bit. Like he has this conversation with Simon, because Simon's like basically treating him like a friend. He gets a bit carried away. So when they show the box of aspirin, he's probably thinking at that moment in time, I think he's thinking they're trying to take the piss now. They're taking my doctor and they're giving us all this aspirin. Like, that's just taking the piss. So he tries to push his luck with Simon and say, can we like keep our doctor, basically?
Yeah, the way he says it is once again, he's like a weasel.
Yeah, he sees Simon as a friend when that's not the case at all. Like, Simon puts him back in his place.
Because he says about stressing that, and he's like, well, I'll be less stressed if I had my doctor here. And then Simon puts him in his place. I love that. I absolutely love that. And even when Simon's like says, Simon says, I've got a very expressional face, and he's like, the character is just amazing. I just love the character.
Now on to the main discussion of this episode is Eugene. Eugene's very misunderstood in my opinion. I went over this briefly in our previous video about Dwight and Eugene having a plan.
We'll put it in the description.
Yeah, I think he's very misunderstood. People think that he is Negan, and he's not. He's not. There's no way Eugene would ever stay with Negan and side with Negan, knowing what he'd done to Abraham. Abraham's the reason Eugene's even alive in the first place, and Eugene knows that. He's too smart. I think he's got a plan, 100% got a plan, which explains why he didn't go with Sasha and Rosita. He did tell them to go away, but at that moment, you put yourself in that position, I would do the exact same thing. I wouldn't go over them because it would just make it worse. They will just send the search party out. They end up finding
Saviour by side then.
Exactly. I mean, they already have 3-4 people hiding from the Saviors who the Saviors think are already dead. So, Eugene's just adding to that. That will just add to that. Like, Eugene's the kind of person to have a calm, calculated, strategic way of trying to destroy the Saviors from the inside, in my opinion. Like, trying to destroy them internally. And he can do that.
Now, in short, our theory is that, I come up with that maybe Eugene has told Dwight something, and that's why he's at the end, he's there, in the shadows while Rosita's watching on, which we thought was Daryl in our live reaction. I don't think it is at all.
It's not. I don't think it is. No, it doesn't make sense for it to be Daryl. But what we think is that he's told you. When he's run into the sanctuary. He's told Dwight, and Dwight's obviously gone round to try and reason with Rosita, because it doesn't make sense. How would he even know they're coming as number one? How would he know where they are?
Why is he so calm just standing there?
Why is he so calm just standing there? If he was actually trying to do this for Negan and he was after her, he would have his crossbow ready and he would just shoot her in the head just like he did with Denise. So nothing makes sense. There's got to be something there. Dwight's redemption's coming. And like I said in the other video, he doesn't have X-ray vision. He didn't just see them through the walls and think, do you know what, I'm going to go out there and have a conversation. Someone's told him. It has to be Eugene who's told him.
Or if Eugene didn't told him, and that's just nothing of it, and Eugene's just a coward, and he just wants to stay alive, because if you notice his whole story, and I say it in our video with the Negan and with the Dwight and Eugene plan thing, like, he's always been behind people who can keep him alive, and he's always done what it took, even if he had to lie, if he had to be a suck up, whatever, he's always been behind someone who can keep him alive. And I think at the sanctuary, he knows he's going to stay alive for a fact, and he's appreciated too. I mean, he's got all his stuff. Negan lets him get on before he has to.
You think of it in this way, right? Eugene's probably thinking in his head, I can plan to destroy them internally whilst they're giving me like free food, some good quality food, giving me a nice jacket, a little pet monkey.
I think Eugene at first probably thinking, I've just got to survive. I just don't want to die. I'm tired of being scared. And then what I think's going to happen is the Dwight's going to get involved with that, and then something will go on there, which is why I think maybe Eugene has gone back inside. Something's happened with Dwight, and then Dwight's out.
Yeah.
And then he sees Rosita. I can see that happening. It's a cool idea, cool theory. Might not be the case, but I think it's cool to think about.
But yeah, I mean, they're treating Eugene like a king, and he's probably thinking, you know what, it's not all bad here. They're treating me like this, and I can just plan to destroy them from the inside whilst being treated like a king. So, I mean, it's not all bad for Eugene. He's got his shit together. At least that's what I think anyway. If they are pulling this shit where he is Negan, then I'm going to go and say that is not good writing, in my opinion.
It's weird. That would be very weird.
I wouldn't like that, because we saw how much Abraham's death affected him. For him to just change like that just because he's being treated like a king, it still seems out of character, in my opinion. It would be very out of character. I wouldn't like that.
Now, there's little cool things in this episode, like Sasha with her necklace. I think it was the broken
headlight, yeah.
The headlight off that fire truck in season 5. Rosita picked that up. She made it for Abe. And then Abe has obviously given that to Sasha.
No, he dropped it, and then Jesus gave Sasha the...
Oh, yeah, but it's been passed on, basically.
It's been passed on, yeah. So that's like the most awkward scene in The Walking Dead ever.
Yeah, it was.
And I feel like this necklace is going to come into play once again. Like, maybe when Sasha does end up dying, you will see that again, and Rosita will get hold of that again somehow. We'll have to see how that goes down, but that was this very, very, very awkward scene. Like, you could feel the tension through the fucking screen.
But hey, everything gets a return, right? Maybe it's the case for that.
But that's about it for this review, really. Just summing up really fast. We want to get back to our in-depth reviews, like looking deep into it instead of just going bit by bit. But we're just so busy and it's just so time-consuming.
Yeah, this
but
is going to be a bit late.
Yeah, we're going to get back to doing that.
Another thing that I didn't catch in this episode was that Sasha's wearing Tyrese's holster.
That's what I was going to mention.
Did not catch that. I saw posts about it on Twitter and stuff, and I think it was mentioned on Talking Dead as well. So I think that's a pretty cool touch, which basically, in my opinion, adds to it's Sasha's time to go. With her talk with Enid as well, which I'll quickly go over now. Her talk with Enid basically says, pass this on to Maggie's baby. All of that kind of stuff, to me, is just
passing on stuff.
Goodbye, Sasha.
I kind of hope we get a mention of Tyrese. Just one last time. It would be fitting for her end. It's not needed, but it would be cool to be added. But she's got his holster, which is really cool. But that's about it for this video. Tell us your thoughts down below. Also, don't forget to check out our video about Dwight and Eugene's plan, because I think it's a really cool theory and it's definitely possible.
Also, if you have any questions for us within the Q&A, so put the Q&A down in the description. Just put Q&A in front of it so we know what it is.
Can be anything you want. So if you want to ask a question, then go ahead. But that's about it for this video. Hope you enjoyed. Leave it a like, share it around, and as always, cheers for watching.